Continuing here. So you might ask, well, you're doing a lot of complaining about the system and about the injustices as I see them, and perception is reality, right? It said. So it's good enough. If a man will fight and die, a woman will fight and die for their beliefs, you've got to respect them. And this is what Trump talked about, the respect, okay, the love, which is caring, okay, giving a damn about other people. And so what's the answer? Take Section 8 housing, okay? So they're making the problem worse. The government, in the pretext or the pretense, or even if they perceive that it's for real, they're trying to help those that can't afford to pay their rent anymore because of the problems they caused. Again, that banking bailout of '08 greatly increased rents. Do you understand what that did? By them saying, validating, legitimizing all that money they dumped on the housing market, okay? All these mortgages that went skyrocketed, okay? All the liar loans, knowing that they knew damn well that they were going to blow the pipes out of the economy with that bailout, okay, with that takeover, really. But they were promised by their evil masters that somehow they were going to weasel out of it. Just go out, lend without restriction, do unbridled lending out there, and just dump money on the market, pump it up. We had 9/11. So Bill Clinton got rid of Glass-Steagall, okay, supposedly before he knew 9/11 was coming. He's very defensive about 9/11. He knew more than he's letting on to, I believe. And if you want to contest that, Bill Clinton, if you were watching me, I'd say, FBI, put that man on a lie detector test, okay? Give him a lie detector test. I want to know what Bill Clinton knew before the events that unfolded on the morning of 9/11, 2001, okay? Because, look, I have a little degree of intuitiveness, and I believe Bill Clinton had some foreknowledge of what was going to unfold. Just like so many people believe that Dick Cheney did, okay, and even Baby Bush 43 did, okay, and that this was an inside job. All it takes is a small cadre of evildoers. One of George Bush's brothers was managing security at the Twin Towers. Building 7 fell on its own footprint. Never before in history has a steel frame building fallen from a tiny fire burning inside. And yet we're all just accepting it. Go on with your life. Oh, even though there's a group of 2,200 architects and engineers that say it's preposterous. Could not have happened. Ridiculous. Can't you see? And we're all under this trance. We're all mesmerized. Oh, just go along. The stock market's good. The economy's coming back. And just, that's in the past. Let the evildoers got away with it. And, but this is what I believe, folks. I believe it doesn't take a lot of evil people. And then after they do their dirty deed, they could be snuffed out by even more evil people. Do you understand? Whoever planted the buildings with the explosives to implode, these people can be murdered later by even more evil people. Do you see how they can keep this thing quiet? Because so very few people at the end of the day know, and they can't implicate each other because they know that they'd either be murdered or they'd be humiliated before the whole world and sent to prison for the rest of their lives, if not hung. Okay, if you were traitorous, Quisling, to the United States by doing such a thing to just regular civilians, the outrage. You understand what they did? So this is all a cover-up. This banking bailout, okay? And then George Bush said, defy the terrorists, so go out there and invest and buy. And this is what they hate. Just do business and improve the economy. So all these people were incentivized, green-lighted to go out there and dump all this money on the housing market. Do you understand how this whole thing worked? So essentially, Bill Clinton set the stage by getting rid of the Glass-Steagall Act, allowing them to go Wild West on our asses and dump all this money in the market, knowing full well there was going to be some damage. That, they thought in their minds somebody would get caught holding the bag at the end of the day as they kept playing this Ponzi pyramid scheme with the housing, flipping and trading and speculating. I mean, people were outbidding each other all over the Bay Area. This was going on. That bids would come in and they just accept bids on houses forever until it just went to the highest bidder. There was no arm's length transactions anymore. It just became a feeding frenzy of fraud. That's what happened. All the people on the know that trusted their evil masters that said, yes, they're going to socialize the debt, they're going to privatize the profits, and you're going to come out smelling like a rose. And a lot of people did. It's created this great wealth and income disparity, and it's created this great rentier class that keeps growing and growing and growing, as evidenced in California, the guinea pig state I refer to it as. and it's sweeping across the nation. And people still to this day, they don't get it. They don't get that Satan, basically, for all intents and purposes, the spirit thereof, the money lovers, the top money lovers, okay, the money masters of misery have taken over, okay, and Trump knows it. And Trump, although he's a very rich man, okay, it's all relative, because who's really rich? Those that own the copyright to the money. How much money are they worth? You tell me. If you own the copyright to the money in perpetuity, you can hand it on to your kids or whatever, whoever you want. How much money do you have? You got as much as you want. You're an infinite heir, okay? So it makes the multi-billionaires look like paupers. So yes, I believe that Trump is the blue-collar, working-class man's president. Okay, I believe he's the next JFK. I don't care if JFK was a Republican or Democrat. I don't care if Trump's a Republican or Democrat. I'd feel exactly the same way. And why isn't everybody else feeling that? All these supposed liberals. I mean, the conservatives are acting like the new leftists now with their liberal beliefs. Good God, what is wrong with us, not only as a nation, but as a species, as a race? Humanity at large is just so immersed, so marinated in evil through the love of money. We want money above all else. You know, we'll sell our conscience, we'll sell our intellect, we'll sell our honesty and our integrity. We want money, man. We want money. And we're all the same. People that deny that they're not a money lover, God knows the truth. He knows what's in your heart. He knows you like financial freedom. He knows that it takes money to do that. God knows you like financial security. He knows it takes money to have financial security. He knows you like to pay the bills that you have, okay? He knows you're a money lover. So the first step to being forgiven for being a money lover is to confess it and then go out and do something about it. Fix the damn problem. So what would I do about Section 8? I'd say buy people houses. You say, oh my God, now you sound like a communist. Really? No. I'll do the math with you. I am a conservative in that regard, fiscally speaking, which has to do with the taxes. I believe in a low cost of living. That means low taxes, a low tax on your cost, a low burden. Okay? So, no, I'm not going to buy it. You can't sell it to me. I'm beyond it. I'm uncuckable in that regard. You're not going to pull the wool over my eyes. I get it. I've been endowed with wisdom, at least in that sense. Like I started this video talking about my own personal stupidity and how I'm not guarding my own thoughts and my own words and deeds closely enough in some respects. But it has to do directly with the relationship I have with my daughters. It has nothing to do with what I know about economics, okay? Because this is what I have been interested in. I've been interested in solving problems, okay? Why the problems don't ever get fixed, why we're not progressing. And it's a spirit. It's a lot of evil minions of the money masters of misery. That's it. They're going along because they love money more than others. And the rest of humanity is getting trampled underfoot. We're struggling. And some people that think they're doing so good, everybody's living in fear. Who isn't living in fear? Jesus made it clear. Look, don't resent the rich. Don't covet what they have. He says, yes, I know that the poor are living in fear, that they're never going to have anything and they're going to keep struggling. Okay? But consider that the rich too live in even more fear because they've got all this stuff, all this great incentive and motivation to want to keep living, and their lives are just as insecure. Not only might they not lose all their wealth tomorrow, somehow, some happenstance, some quirk, and they could lose all their riches tomorrow. They live with that fear, but they could lose their own lives and they don't get to enjoy it. And Jesus even talked about the parable about the guy that had stored up all the great wealth and thought he was just going to eat, drink, be merry, and take it easy for a while, the rest of his life. And then all of a sudden his life was demanded of him. Jesus gave these as warnings. What's a warning? That's what a friend gives you. A friend doesn't let you fall into a pit. Jesus was a friend to humanity. He cared about everybody. I care about everybody. I want the best, not for some people, but for everybody. That means my enemy, those that hate me without a cause, those that hate Jesus without a cause. And that's a cross to bear. We've all got a cross to bear. I bear that cross sometimes for Alex Jones. I don't even like what he says sometimes. I can't stand it. It pisses me off. But I still got to say, you know what? I'm going to defend him as far as what he's devoutly into the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I can't defend him when he's stupid and asinine at times. I can't defend myself when I'm stupid and asinine at times. The best I can do is say I'm sorry and mean it. and say if I had another chance, I wouldn't do it that way. I'll never do it again. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that that's where I'm coming from. That's the best anybody can do. We're just humans. We're fallible. We're fallible. We can fall. We can fail. We're frail, pathetic, and pitiable at times, weak. And, we've got to give each other a break, give each other slack here. We've got to come together, and we've got to say, we get it. These evil money masters of misery, the grand puppeteers, want us irreconcilably divided. And I'm saying, no, let's determine to be inextricably united, okay, as far as humanity goes. So you can label me an extreme leftist, liberal. You could even call me a communist, because these are just terms that we have to sit down and have a conversation about the exact meaning of. Or you could say, oh, no, he's a fiscal prudent, he's a conservative. He's fiscally prudent, he's a conservative, because he's willing to do the math and show me how it's going to bring down my cost of living, my taxes, and that's what cost of living is, just another tax, right, on your very existence. But understand all the resistance to fixing problems, like I explained earlier. All those people whose job relevance would dissipate and vanish, dwindle, go away, diffuse, be spread out. They wouldn't have it. They wouldn't have that power. But when something makes them relevant, it's just like a terrorist attack. It makes the whole a facet, an arm of law enforcement very relevant, right, when that happens. Now we got to go out, we get the FBI, we need Homeland Security. So they're very relevant. So they need terrorist attacks in order to remain relevant. You understand how this thing works? So I'm saying, yes, buy people houses, because you'll get that bill paid off, and it's going to be far cheaper, okay? Even if the government has to waive the property taxes because that person's so poor, it'd still be a hell of a lot cheaper than the way they're doing it. So you could say what you want about my ideas of fixing the problems, but they're real, they're genuine, and they're intellectual, okay? They're just honest, really, okay? It doesn't take a lot of intellect to do math. I mean, even a dumb person could do 2 plus 2 or 4 minus 2. Okay, you know what you're going to get. It's not difficult arithmetic. So, folks, I know what I'm talking about, and I feel a need to explain this to people, and I'm very upset about Charlottesville, and I'm very upset about the mainstream media liars out there, these sycophants and minions of the money masters of misery, the satanic spirit of Satan with his pitchfork out there just wanting to jab innocent, undeserving people that are willing to serve their fellow man. I've got so much I could contribute to humanity. If you put me on a minimum guaranteed income tomorrow, it's just going to free me up. It's going to say, okay, I've got a semblance of financial security, financial freedom, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get all these ideas in my head, all these great designs that will benefit so many people, all these innovations I have locked up inside because I don't have the wherewithal to get them out there in the marketplace. Okay? It would free me to do that. So I've got great things I want to contribute to humanity. Plenty of things. And I will, I promise. And that's all I can give you is my promise, my word, to do these things. But you've got to understand that we're a family. And we've got to see it that way. If we're ever going to find true happiness, we're going to do it by seeing things through God's eyes and understanding fundamental truths about this paradigm, that it's an unreality from birth because we're all born beholden. We're all born enslaved to the money masters of misery by putting this cost of living, literally a tax on our existence from birth. So none of us are free, okay, the way it is. And it's very, very, very antithetical to this current establishment that we become free. But I firmly believe with every fiber of my being, I contend that it is God's will that we all be free. So how is that going to happen? By the understanding that we're all born with a silver spoon in our mouths. We're all born equally righted, equally entitled to share in God's bounty. Do you understand? As a birthright. No man has a right, has a prerogative to hold that over another man's head. So I think I'm going to end what I had to say with that and get on to some of the current events because you're not going to change my mind about that. I'm a good American. I believe in equality. I'm an egalitarian. And I want the best for even my enemies because it doesn't serve me at all to have them fighting me and just draining me. And it's wearying to have to constantly explain. Like Trump, they're trying to wear him out. They know they've asked him the same question. He's answered the same way. And he fully rebukes and disowns any of these evil people. No, he doesn't want their support. Their support just hurts him. But they keep asking the same questions over and over again as if he hasn't answered it. So that's their way of mind effing everybody so that you think that Trump's evil. You don't listen to what he has to say. You listen to the first part and then you don't want to hear what the president has to say. That he's denounced all this evil. That he's not a white supremacist, a racist. He's not anti-Semitic. He's not a xenophobe. He knows that the best way to help other nations is to get our own act